Hello, Garden Lakes Diamondbacks. Welcome to Rattle and Read for the week. As most of you know, I'm Mrs. Helland, the principal here at Garden Lakes, and I hope you're all enjoying your time at home for distance learning. So today we're going to read a book called Sheila Rae the Brave, and this is by Kevin Hanks. And it is dedicated to Gretchen. Sheila Rae wasn't afraid of anything. She wasn't afraid of the dark. She wasn't afraid of thunder and lightning. And she wasn't afraid of the big black dog at the end of her block. At dinner, Sheila Rae made believe that the cherries in her fruit cocktail were the eyes of dead bears. And she ate 5 of them. At school, Sheila Rae giggled when the principal walked by. And when her classmate Wendell stole her jump rope during recess, Sheila Rae tied him up until the bell rang. "I am very brave," Sheila Rae said, patting herself on the back. Oops, shouldn't tie anyone up at recess. Sheila Rae stepped on every crack in the sidewalk without fear. When her sister Louise said there was a monster in the closet, Sheila Rae attacked it. And she rode her bicycle, no-handed, with her eyes closed. "Yay, yay, Sheila Rae!" her friends yelled, clapping their hands. One day, Sheila Rae decided to walk home from school a new way. Louise was afraid to. "You're too brave for me," Louise said. "Ah, you're always such a scaredy cat," Sheila Rae called. "I'm not," whispered Louise. Sheila Rae started off skipping. "I am brave," she sang. "I am fearless." She stepped on every crack. She walked backwards with her eyes closed. She growled at stray dogs and she bared her teeth at stray cats. And she pretended that the trees were evil creatures. She climbed up them and broke their fingers off. Snap, snap, snap. Sheila Rae walked and walked. She turned corners. She crossed streets. It suddenly occurred to Sheila Rae that nothing looked familiar. Sheila Rae heard frightening noises. They sounded worse than thunder. She thought horrible thoughts. They were worse than anything she had ever imagined. "I am brave," Sheila Rae tried to convince herself. "I am fearless." The sounds became more frightening. The thoughts became more horrible. Sheila Rae sat down on a rock and cried, "Help!" She sniffed. She thought of her mother and her father and Louise. "Mother, Father, Louise," she cried. "Here I am," a voice said. "Louise!" Sheila Rae hugged her sister. "We're lost," Sheila Rae said. "No, we're not," said Louise. "I know the way home. Follow me." Louise stepped on every crack. She walked backwards with her eyes closed. She growled at stray dogs and bared her teeth at stray cats. And she pretended that the trees were evil creatures. She jumped up and broke their fingers off. Snap, snap, snap. Sheila Rae walked quietly behind her. They walked and walked. They crossed streets. They turned corners. Soon their house could be seen between the trees. Sheila Rae grabbed Louise and dashed up the street. When they reached their own yard and the gate was closed behind them, Sheila Rae said, "Louise, you are brave. You are fearless." "We both are," said Louise, and they walked backwards into the house with their eyes closed. The end. I hope you like that book, Sheila Rae the Brave. Maybe you can think about some times that you were very brave. And also, maybe you can think about some times when someone has helped you when you were when you were a little scared. Maybe it was your parents, maybe it was a teacher, maybe it was a friend or a grandparent. And you know what? During these times of distance learning, when we're not at school together and we can't just raise our hand in class to ask for help, we need to be a little braver. We might have to type into the chat and ask our teacher for help. Or we might have to raise our hand or use the little picture icon and say, we need help. So this time of distance learning might require us to ask for help and be a little braver for asking for those help and asking for from our parents and other people. So I hope again you enjoyed this story and look forward to seeing you next week on Rattle and Read.